Alright, what is the historical context of the article? When and where was it published? What was the majority of the event or develop? Where was it occurring at that time? Alright, so the historical context, the Chemley and the common sense from Liberty, Boston, whatever. In December the 1st, 1865, intimating of the aftermath, Civil War beginning destruction. Now, the time and place it was published. First question, where was it published? When? Where was it published? Well, it was published in Boston, Massachusetts, whatever. I don't know how to say that one. And that's where it was. That's where it was, and when it happened in December the 1st, 1865. And the majority of the events, the context, alright, the development and major events. Alright, the end of Civil War from April 1865, the Union just defeated the Confederates, and the nation faced enormous challenges rebuilding and uniting, banishing of slavery. The 13th Amendment was about the official ratified December 1886, ending slavery in the United States, rafting December 1865. Yet again, there were fans disagreeing over how to treat the defeated Southern states and the former Confederates, or whatever it is. President Andrew Johnson favored lands offending patrons to many ex-Confederates, racial Republicans, and abolitionists, whatever. Like those behind the liberation, wanted stronger measurements to protect freed African Americans and assuring justice to the Union supporters. Violence and restrictions in the South. Freed people were faced harsh treatment, violence, and effort by the white Southerns to restore the old racial heterons through the Black Code. So that's the first one, that's context and backgrounds. Now time for the second question. Summarize the topic or issue, events, policy, or the social concerns is addressing. Well, addressing about the summary of the main topic and issue is the article focus on restriction policy and justice after the Civil War, specifically whatever the federal government should show symmetry, forgiveness, or enforce strict punishment towards those who led the support the Confederates. Next one, events or concern address. It is addressed the national debate following the ending of the Civil War in 1865. Yet again, I guess all of this is during the year. How rebuilding the South restored the Union and secured justice to free the African Americans. The peace agreement that too much lends towards the former rebellions could undermine justice and the rights to free people, while some politician leaders, including the President Andrew Johnson, favored the Princeton and recollection, whatever. Question number 3. Alright, the third one. Alright, the third one says, what kind of language of the article use? What base of issue or evidence? What does it relevant about the public attention towards the topic? Is the direct? Yeah. Is it direct? Alright. Let's get this on the roll. The purpose of the article is to pursue the article through to persuade readers, especially northern citizens and law market, that showing too much symmetry or forgiveness towards former Confederates after the Civil War was dangerous and unjustifiable. It urged that the government should take form fair and sensibly approach to restriction, assuring real justice and protection to freed the Americans citizens. It was strongly criticized. President Andrew Johnson led the reconstructions policies, which allowed many Southern leaders who had supported the Confederates, whatever, to regain politician power quickly. The article commends this as a betrayal of the Union sacrifice and the cost of the incompletion. Whatever. Now, next question. Next one. The border purpose. Next one. The peace aim to rally moral and the politician supports to reconstruct based on accountability, equality, and last reform, rather than one build on quickly forgiveness and reconciliation. It reflects liberty, abolishes, I don't know how to say that word. Abolitionist mission? Yeah, that would do. To keep attention on the rights and safety of freed people and pursue the government, to uphold justice. Alright, the final one. What was it? Hold up. No, just two more. Almost done. The intended audience of the symmetry and the common sense. Published December. Liberty Boston. Was reform. North abolitions. Reforming and citizens who supported the Union, and incredibly, right, intended audience, abolitions and reform mind Northerns. The Liberty, edited by William Lloyd Garrison. Okay. William Lloyd Garrison was one of the most influenced abolishing newspapers. Newspapers in the United States who readers were influenced. People who had long positivity slavery and wanted to see genuinely equality and justice published during the restriction. Educated and policy active citizens. The Active Citizens paper, the paper Boston, published location and abolishing stronghold suggests its audience consent of educating readers evolved in morals and politician debate and how the nation should rebuild after the war. How the article was using morals and the critical tone, appealing to readers' sense of justice and responsibility. It warns, I don't know how to say that, against being too forgiving towards the Confederates, using the common sense to argue that mercy without justice would betray the sacrifice of the war and the rights of freed people. The word constraints of common sense, implying that compassion must not overweigh fairness and logic. The context of the argument and the moral politician and intellectual and not emotional or populist, fitting an audience accustomed too serious in discussion of authentic justice and reform. The paper abolished trading shape. The article demands accountability and equal for freed African Americans. The criticism of President Andrew Johnson legacy aligns with the expectation to readers who disturb politicians and seek to protect former slave owners. Now, to support the supporting evidence. This one's going to be important. The publication. The Liberty was printed Boston, Massachusetts, a center of anti-slavery movement. Language. The title itself, symmetry and common sense, shows that the writer intentionally to apply pale to racial and morals readers, urging them that to think critically rather than sentimentally about restrictions. For our final one, the sixth one. Let me read it. Sixth one says, how did this article deepen your understanding of the Civil War or restriction? What the new perspective or question did it raise? The article deepened my understanding of the Civil War or restrictions. It really I understand it, it reveals struggling for justice didn't end with the Union victory. It didn't end with the Union victory. While slavery was abolished, the real challenge was deciding to while how to rebuild the South and protecting the rights of newly freed slave African American, aka African Americans. The article highlight the major of moral and politician conflict. Should native native forgive and reconcile with former Confederates, showing symmetry or demanding accountability and justice, just using common sense, quotation. It emphasized how abolitionists and reformers feared too much forgiveness would allow racism and old power restriction to survive and undermine the goal of freedom and equality. Now, the other question said, what new perspective or question did it raise? Well, it raised questions of whatever piece of whatever peace can exist without justice, a debate that still appears in later U.S. histories. When dealing with the issue of racism and reconciliation, it provides a new perspective on President Andrew Johnson. Reconstruction politician shows how controversy and divides they were at that time. It makes the reader consider how the public opinion and policy choice in 1865 shaped the long-term struggling for the U.S. for the Civil War that followed. And that is it. Goodbye.